to the new podcast, episode number 52. My name is Steven. I am joined as always by producer and co-host extraordinaire, Kelly. My man, we're back in the saddle again. Let's get to it, homie. Had a little bit of a hiatus. We both took a vacation. Bahamas was the destination. And we had a great time out there. Really glad to be back doing the show with you, Kelly. As always, my man. Just hanging out, kicking it with my homeboy, and talking some MMA. What a weekend we had last weekend with 2 times Bellator. Bellator times 2. I loved it. Going down in Dublin and then going down in LA. I like it. UFC also going international with their Copenhagen show, rounding out their international September. That was actually good. It was actually a good card. I like the those Danes. They came out to enjoy some MMA. It was really good. The crowd turnout was really cool. I really enjoyed that. I really enjoyed it thoroughly. Just that was about the fanfare. You know what I mean? How do the fans react? And they reacted very positively towards the UFC and MMA. Obviously, a huge week of sports going down. Talk a little bit of video games this weekend, and just doing our thing, talking MMA, and coming through your headsets, coming through your speakers in a town near you. Let's do it, Kelly. Let's get to some MMA news, my man. Biggest announcement. It was late last week. This announcement was drawn up. UFC 245 has its main event, and it will be Max Holloway taking on Alexander Volkanovski.
Terrible.
That's a terrible matchup. It's actually even being rumored that won't be the headline. That'll be the co-main event. It's a stacked up card. But it was first announced that it was going to be the main event, but then another bigger announcement came down the pipe, and that is officially Kamaru Usman will be defending his 170-pound belt against Colby Covington.
Oh, shit.
Finally getting his just dues. Gonna be getting his... I thought it was going to be going down in Washington, D.C., but obviously they didn't want that big of a card going down. So now you have 2 titles on the line with Alexander Volkanovski challenging Max Holloway, Colby Covington unifying his belt with Kamaru Usman, and that's not all, folks. Also, Amanda Nunes will be taking on Germaine de Randamie on this card as well. So we have 3 title bouts, Kelly. 3 on one card. Where's this one going down at? In Las Vegas, T-Mobile Arena. So this must be their big year-end show. It's December 14th, kind of in the middle of the month, which is a bit odd. Do people not like the year-end shows? I love them. What do you think, Kelly? Do you like them? Or are you more like, I'm too busy to catch shit that year? That's the only thing I can think of why people wouldn't watch it at that time.
No, I'd watch it anyways.
Yeah.
But I think some people might be too busy.
I guess maybe, is that what it is? Having it at this time is a perfect time. I think okay, good. My work Christmas party's the next weekend. I'm like, oh, phew, that would suck.
Yeah.
To have it that time. But, I'm super excited for that card. December 14th, Las Vegas. There's another fight that was the other one that's announced. So is Jessica Ai will be taking on Vivian Araujo. I think I saw her fight earlier in the year as well. Araujo's a tough fighter. I'm excited for this one too. Some other ones that were kind of being thrown out there was Matt Brown versus Ben Saunders too. That's not bad. You know what I mean? Battle of the old dudes. You know what I mean? 2 dudes who like to bang though. You know what I mean? Skilled on the ground too. So I think that could be interesting at 170. Robbie Lawler we announced the last show. Robbie Lawler versus Santiago Ponzinibbio. And Sergio Pettis as well, the brother of Antonio Pettis, will be taking on Kaikara, France. So it's already pretty darn stacked to be announcing it this far into the future. A few months away, but you know what? December is just right around the corner. So we'll see how that stacks up. Who gets injured? Who makes it onto the card as well? Do we see a last-second replacement and see some magic, some title championship magic? You don't see too many people taking championship bouts. Usually the dude who loses the opponent is like, no, I'm not going to fight anybody else. Spent a lot of money on this training camp for one dude. I'm not going to go back on that. But I'm super excited for this card. Cannot wait. UFC 245 getting it done with their year-end show, I guess. I think it has to be. Moving right along, folks. Another big announcement. I think this one has potential of fight of the year. Brian Ortega will be taking on Chan Sung Jung, the Korean zombie in Korea. Busan. UFC. I don't know if they've ever been to Korea. I don't think they have. Remember. Yeah, I don't think they have. I think this could be the first Korean UFC ever, and I'm super excited for it. Busan's a big city over there. December 21st. So this will go down on December 21st, which is perfect timing right afterwards. Obviously this isn't going to be the year end show because it's just a fight night. But if that's a headliner, man, did they ever get a good headliner in Korea? There, hats off to both of those dudes because it's going to be a banging match. And good for the UFC for putting on a good show. First time in that country. Good time. Is that confirmed, Kelly? Have you confirmed they've ever been to Korea?
I can't see that they've ever been in Korea before.
It must be the first time then. Yeah, it must be the first time.
Because when you type in UFC in Korea, it comes up with Brian Ortega with Korean Zombie.
Oh, and Volkan Olzemeyer's on that card too against Alexander Ratchik. And that looks like about it. Matt Schnell taking on Alejandro Pajoje. Oh, Pajoje is actually a good fighter. That should be a good one, actually. Yeah, that should be actually a really good. Two dudes standing in the middle of the ring and punching each other in the face.
Nice. That's what I like to see.
That's what I like to see.
That's what I like bare knuckle boxing.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Two dudes standing in the middle of the ring, punch each other in the face. Yeah. Good for UFC and good for Korea. It's a match made in heaven. With Yair Rodriguez and Jeremy Stevens fallout from we didn't touch base on that. All happened last week. Obviously with their infamous eye poke. It was more of an eye rake. You know what I mean? That was a bad rake.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
Yeah, you know what I mean? But their rematch has been announced, and they will be fighting in October 18th.
No way.
Yeah.
That soon?
UFC Boston, yeah.
No
UFC
way.
Boston. Well, the fight was only like 45 seconds, right?
I know, but his eye, because he said it was cornea scratch.
Yeah.
So, his eye actually, has to heal together. Otherwise, man, you could, pop your eye, can't you?
Oh, exactly. Yeah. I don't even know. Exactly.
Damn. And it's, bruised, so he's not going to be able to see very well.
He's willing to go down.
How fast can you heal from that?
I was confused by it, too, but I guess it's enough days because, that's just in a few weeks.
That's crazy.
You know what I mean? Maybe it only takes, I guess, 30 days, I guess? They got some stem cells. They're just injecting stem cells directly into his eyeball.
He's gonna Michael Bisping his eyeball.
Oh, he could. Yeah, that's not a good thing to do. You don't want to, going blind where your retinas are so fucked up you have to retire from combat sports altogether.
Yeah. Fuck.
But I'm excited for that match, though. You know what I mean? To see him go down. Have you seen? I don't know if people out there, if you've seen obviously the video of them meeting up in the hotel room. Did you see it, Kelly?
Yeah, I did.
It gets pretty heated. Rodriguez is. Uncharacteristically acting a bit of a jerk off here in my books. You know what I mean?
I think he's playing a good heel.
A little bit.
So many people are talking now, man.
That's true. Yeah,
so many.
I'm really excited about it. Yeah, exactly. I'm really excited about it. But you know what I mean? I think he's almost calling out Jeremy Stevens for saying you threw the fight. You know what I mean? You quit and you gave up. You know what I mean? But yeah, that was an eye rake. That was straight up. 2 fingers in each eye, you know what I mean? Hulk Hogan and Ric Flair thought that eye rake was a bit rough. That was an eye rake and a half, and I don't like I said, the last time, with the Todd Duffy eye poke, he looked fine. His eyes were open, you know what I mean? He looked fine. Jeremy Stevens couldn't open his eyes.
Yeah,
he got raked in a half. That's when you know someone's eye is fucked. When they can't open their eye, their eye just shuts closed. It was a good, smart move by him. Why the hell would he fight with one arm? Obviously, the doctor wouldn't allow it. But we got some heat, Kelly. We got some heat between two dudes, and now it makes even more for a rematch. But that's the thing. I don't think you want to piss off Jeremy Stephens. You know what I mean? He's not a guy you want to piss off, and it's kind of, I don't know if it is a weird move by Yair Rodriguez to gain some notoriety. The one thing I didn't like about that fight is when he jumped on the edge of the ring. I was arguing with Morgan about this. You know what I mean?
You won.
Well, just to jump up there, and then he started to cry too. You know what I mean? So he jumps up onto the ring, onto the railing of the cage, and then like puts his hands in his face, and then kind of like leans over and cries. I don't know, man. It seemed really weird to me. Why? The top of the ring is for celebrating, not for dicking around and you know what I mean, trying to tell the crowd that you're upset. Yeah, it was weird. The whole thing was weird, but I'm excited for the rematch. Cannot wait. Speaking of a really good matchup coming down for Bellator 232, October 26th, has another heavyweight bout to add to its ranks. Javi Ayala taking on Vitaly Minakov. I really like this matchup. I think this has got to be a matchup for whoever for the number one title contendership, with Minakov being a former champ. And Javi really knocking out everyone in front of him with this huge win over Frank Mir. I think this is actually a really good matchup, and my hat goes off to Bellator. Any way you slice it, man, the heavyweights are where it's at, and Bellator is doing a good job of booking these dudes. Great booking by Bellator, putting these two dudes together. Javi Ayala versus Minakov going down. Bellator 232, October 26th. I cannot wait. Back to the UFC, where UFC Sao Paulo starting to fill out a little bit, Kelly. We will see smiling Sam Alvey take on Shogun Mauricio Hua. I'm actually excited for that fight. I think it's a good matchup of two dudes at the same time. You know, we saw Sam Alvey fight Little Nog, and he got the shit kicked out of him. So I think it's almost like an easier fight for Shogun too. You put a little bit of Sam Alvey's tough, but you know what I mean, I just don't see enough out of him. You know what I mean? He can really be called a gatekeeper. You know what I'm saying, Kelly? Even to be called a gatekeeper would be a stretch and a half. I like Sam Alvey too. I actually like his fights. I think he puts on a lot of good fights, and I actually enjoy this matchup. But you know, it's kind of a weird one though. You know what I mean? Do you think Sam Alvey pulls the upset, Kelly, or do you think Shogun kind of just swarms and crushes him? Who do you think takes it?
I think Shogun's going to win.
Yeah.
I don't think he's going to swarm him. I think it's going to take a while. Probably like second round.
Second round? Yeah, I could see that.
Maybe like a head kick or something.
Yeah. Shogun coming off, he's coming off a win over, over a tough dude too. So, do we see Shogun rack together a few wins here and maybe turn back the clock? I don't even think he's that old. That's what's crazy. I think Shogun is probably younger than me.
Yeah, he's just been fighting forever.
Yeah, exactly. Let's take a look at his stats here. He's been fighting for a long-ass time. Been fighting since 2002. He's, 37. So he's a year older than me.
My age.
Yeah, 81.
Oh, he's older than me.
Yeah, he's going to be turning 38 in November. He's going to be turning 38 in November. Still relatively young in the MMA world. Not young. He is in his older part of MMA.
I still feel good.
Yeah.
Not too bad. Anyway, I don't know. I don't know. I don't feel too much different than I did when I was in my 20s.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I feel almost stronger in some ways. You know what I mean? Other ways, not so much.
Yeah.
He beat Tyson Pedro. That was a huge win. TKO. He lost Anthony Smith. He got the shit kicked out of him, but he beat Gilon Vellante, beat Corey Anderson, beat Little Nog. So in his last, if you look at it, just his last 4 fights, he's 5 fights, he's 4-1. That's not bad at all. He lost to OSP, lost to Dan Henderson, beat James Tahuna, lost to Chael Sonnen, lost to Alexander Gustafsson. He's got a lot of good wins on his record, still in there, really. You know what I mean? If he finds a way to turn back the clock, I think he's at a perfect time for it right now. Maybe is 205 not the right place for him? I don't think so. I don't know how he doesn't go down to 185. He is such a small 205, but I thought that was a good matchup. I like it, and I can't actually wait to see that fight. Moving right along, folks. Also, Kelly, what do you think, man? I got to ask you about this one. This one really been tossed around. Daniel Cormier, saying he will come back for a fight, but the only person he will fight is Stipe Miocic for the rubber match.
Yeah.
Tough call. What do you think, man? Do you think he does come back, and do you think he should come back?
Yeah, man, I think he should, and I think he does. I think that third match, if he does win it, it'll solidify him as the greatest heavyweight ever.
Yeah.
If he loses, it's gonna mean Stipe is. So that means he's gonna be the second best light heavyweight and the second best heavyweight.
Wow.
So I think he needs to for his legacy.
Yeah, what a way to look at it. It's kind of always been Daniel Cormier's career, you know what I mean? Like, he was such a great collegiate wrestler and an Olympic wrestler, but still got, I think he got fourth 2 times in a row. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? That's rough. Fourth, the wooden medal? Ugh, yeah. That's rough.
No one can ever take away, that champ status, but everybody knows the story behind it, too.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly, right? Exactly. Never beating John Jones.
Yeah.
And then if he loses to Stipe twice, that's rough. That's rough. I don't know, man. I don't know if I think deep down inside, I just want to see him maybe fight somebody else. But I think it only makes sense. Yeah, obviously I want to see him fight Brock Lesnar.
Yeah.
But I just don't, obviously, you got to look at it without your heart and look at it with your mind. It is the only fight that makes sense. For money-wise, on paper, and just where he is in his career right now. But that's the thing, this has been such a tough career for Daniel Cormier, always going up, against the top competition every night. And that's what we say about a lot of dudes, especially when you go to the UFC. If you're the top 5, you got to fight those 5 guys. Basically 2 years, 3 years running, you're all up against the top 5 dudes. That is tough. That is tough for anybody. And that's what the UFC brings. But I guess we're going to have to see it. I don't know, though. I don't know. Maybe it gets announced. Apparently, it will be in the early new year if the fight does get announced, come February or March. But I can almost guarantee we'll see some kind of big announcement come down one of the December cards or some shit like that coming through. Who takes it though, Kelly? Who takes it?
Oh man, I want to know who you think takes it first.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I'm gonna say Cormier. I'm gonna say Cormier takes the rubber match, and I think he comes in real serious for this one.
Yeah, I just wanted time to think about it. No, I think Stipe might take it.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, it's tough to count anyone out. That's the thing. It's a total flip of a coin because first fight Stipe got knocked out. Second fight, Cormier got knocked out. So it's pretty crazy, man. It's pretty crazy.
I think Stipe has the size and the reach advantage.
Mm-hmm.
So Daniel really has to come inside and fill those haymakers and hooks at Stipe's chin. Hope he lands them.
Yeah, exactly.
I think Stipe just has a better chance of it.
Yeah, absolutely. Exactly. Size, strength, and just the reach, obviously, too. I think Cormier will have to work his wrestling, but that's the thing. Stipe's not a slouch when it comes to wrestling. So, and just being the taller dude, it's going to be tough for him to try to win it. Another odd announcement, and it's coming out of the SBK gym, Conor McGregor's gym. Kavanaugh himself in a recent interview with Bellator saying the only fight Conor McGregor wants right now and should take is Frankie the Answer Edgar. You know what I mean? Yeah, I could see that too. I think he sees it as an easy fight, just where Frankie's older in his career right now too. He actually didn't look bad against Holloway, but I think obviously all the dudes who Frankie has lost to that Conor thinks he can beat them up too. So kind of a weird one. I guess it's good to give Frankie that money fight too. He well deserved it. A guy who really had the lightweight division on his back for a very long time. It was a very tough 155, and now finding his way at 145. I think it's obviously a slam dunk. They do fight at 155, but I thought that was kind of a weird matchup.
So it is 155?
I don't know. Yeah, they're just saying that's the fight they want. That's the fight they're asking for.
At 155, I think Conor knocks him out.
Yeah, I could see it. Oh, yeah, I could see it. That's the thing with Frankie, getting really posterized by Ortega, and, really eating a lot of shots from Holloway, too. He didn't come out of that fight with a little bit of brain damage, that's for damn sure. He really took a lot of punches in that one. And, Frankie's much older. When Frankie was calling out Conor McGregor, that's like 3 years ago now. You know what I mean? And now when he was on top of the game, after he knocked out Chad Mendes, I think obviously the wrestling game of Frankie Edgar is going to be have to be a real huge concern, but size. The size of Conor, I'd like to see how they size up because I bet you Frankie's quite smaller.
Yeah, I think at a lighter weight class, Frankie would have the advantage just because he would have more cardio. He'd be able to just keep moving, stick and jab, kind of like Floyd Mayweather. Not as good, obviously. I'm not comparing the two boxing, but much like that, I think he could tire Conor out and probably win the decision.
Yeah,
but,
good call. Yeah, if anyone tires somebody out, it's Frankie Edgar, who's got the 5-round pace.
Yeah.
That's the only thing too is Conor's refused to fight not as the main event too. So I think that's almost like a disadvantage for him.
Yeah.
Going 5 rounds with a guy like Frankie Edgar, probably not going to be good for him, for a dude who just used to going 5 rounds with his whiskey and punching innocent patrons. Yeah. So I think it's easy. Could easily go to Frankie Edgar. You know what I mean? It all depends. What Conor do we see?
Yeah.
What Conor do we see? Sad news of BJ Penn, but I think it's for the best. Officially released from the UFC. We will not see BJ versus Nick Lentz. We won't see BJ anywhere but TMZ coming up. Let's hope. Let's hope he can get clean, figure out his demons, get his shit together, and get on the right track. You know what I mean? BJ Penn was one of my favorite fighters for a very, very long time. But I think it's deservedly so that he does get released for all the bullshit that was going on. But the rumor is there's already a lot of people actually trying to sign him.
This is saying he's going to bare knuckle fight no skate.
Yeah, that's one of the biggest. That's honestly one of the biggest rumors that
Could
he will.
Could you imagine? Oh man, he doesn't need that kind of brain damage.
He's already there.
He's already there.
No, exactly.
He's drunk,
it's either bare knuckle boxing or even Bellator's. And Bellator does a lot of Hawaiian stuff. Could they put him on an undercard against a total can? I think it would be okay. Maybe bring him into for some Legends fight. You know what I mean? Have him fight Hoist Gracie for fuck's sakes.
Yeah,
something like that. Something weird like that. But I just hope maybe he can get some time off. Take some time off. Get his mind straight and come back. You know what I mean? It's just sad to see. Sad to see what has happened to BJ Penn for being one of the toughest dudes of all time. Really, to really take such a slide so hard and so far away from what he used to be, which wasn't that long ago.
BJ Penn versus Jens Pulver in bare knuckle boxing.
Yeah, that would sell huge, man. That would sell huge. You know what I mean? And, I don't know man, how is Jens looking these days?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh man,
if he looks good, it probably wouldn't be a good idea.
Exactly. Fuck, he's got to be pushing 50 too.
Oh man.
Still, I would pay to see that. I think a lot of people would. In Hawaii, you know what I mean? In Hawaii, I think that's why he garners anybody's attention. Just because you have a show with BJ Penn in Hawaii, you're going to sell out instantly.
Yeah.
But I thought that was crazy. I wanted to kind of round off the segment with something I thought was just I don't know. In my eyes, and correct me if I'm wrong, it's utter bullshit. With the UFC moving to Australia for the next card, this weekend, we see a lot of politicians getting involved, really sticking their nose where it doesn't belong and saying how the UFC should get rid of ring girls. And I just think it's one of the weirdest arguments, kind of the stupidest arguments. We've seen it with Formula One. They got rid of the track girls. And I just think it's just, you've taken away someone's job.
Yeah.
It's not a sexist standpoint. It's not about women or men, but you just took away someone's job. Just because you don't think it's right. Yeah. And that's the dumbest thing. So you want to take away, these ring girls are very famous. outside of the world. Would they have been? You think Ariana Celeste would have been famous? You know what I mean? Outside of the UFC, Kelly?
Probably not.
Probably no one would even know who the fuck she is.
UFC gave her a notoriety.
Yeah.
Notoriety.
She just been another hot girl, you know what I mean, that are everywhere. But she was put to another level and put on such a high pedestal, you know what I mean, because of the UFC.
And my question is, what's the issue with it when the fighters sometimes go in there with Speedos? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's not like the fighters are wearing much more than the ring girls, and it's just tradition. It's who cares.
I think that's what you hit the nail on the head, Kelly. It's just tradition. It's not about women. It's not about men. You want to have dudes parade around with the signs? Go ahead. I think
they do in Invicta.
Yeah, exactly. Why exactly? And no one's complaining about that.
Exactly. Nobody cares.
You know what I mean? I wouldn't care. I really. That's why I think it's kind of a non-subject because. Like I said, number one thing, exactly, you know what I mean? Like you said, Kelly, and you're taking away someone's job. They don't make a ton of money from doing it. They only make about $18,000 a year, but they get to fly around the world for free. You know what I mean? I'm sure all their food is comped too. Obviously, their stay is free. They make about only $18,000, which is pretty low, but you know, it's really not that much work, obviously.
Mm-hmm. It's just so drunk people know what round it is.
Exactly. How are they going to know? How are they going to know? But they make a ton of money from promotions. You know what I mean? I couldn't imagine how many fans they have on Instagram where you can make dough. You know what I mean? YouTube or Facebook or whatever, where they are garnering, likes and views and shit like that and selling different products and crap like that. They're probably making a killing. Would they have been able to do that before the UFC? Hell no. Hell no. They would have had to work 10 times harder. And here we're seeing someone trying to ruin a positive thing. I don't think there's no negatives in this, Kelly, and I don't know why you'd want to take away a positive thing for people. You're gonna take away cheerleaders. Like, when does it stop? They're not doing it forced against their will. They can quit anytime. They like doing it. It's enjoyable. I think anyone would like doing it, no matter who you are. And it's just mind-boggling for me. I just kind of wanted to touch base on that. I don't know if I'm going to get any hate, women hate from it, but it's an opinion. And I think it has to be said. Whether I've talked to a lot of women too, and they think the same thing, that it's just ridiculous that the conversation is even being put out there. And that's kind of why I thought, I could talk about it. Women are in the same boat as what I am, thinking that it's just ridiculous. I just want to get that off my chest. Hold on to that for a long time.
You're censoring, what from all this violence that you're about to watch? You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, your people are getting their brains smashed out, and they're going to be, they're going to getting so much brain damage for years to come. And then a lot of the dudes wear the tighty whities, like those super tighty jockey shorts. You know what I mean too?
Yeah, exactly.
They're wearing less than the women are.
Yeah, so you're gonna get mad at some girl who walks around smiling with a number.
Yeah.
This doesn't make sense, man. People just need a reason to get angry.
That's exactly it. You know what I mean? It's just people on the outside having an opinion on something that they really, like I said, they're sticking their nose where they shouldn't. Politicians should stick to being corrupt. You know what I mean? Doing a terrible job and shutting their mouth.
Oh shit!
Do what you do best, politicians. Let's talk some video games. Had a ton of fun with video games this week. I didn't play much more other than Orna and Zelda. But man, Orna, really getting it done, man. This game is just amazing, Kelly. You gotta get into it, man. It's so much fun. They've done a bunch of updates. I hit 175. I'm in tier 8 now. So it's all new enemies, all new bosses, new companions with yourself too, the new pets and shit like that. Such a cool tier. I went with Necromancer. It's so cool, so powerful and tough, just smashing dudes. The new enemies some of them are really, really tough, but the new bosses, the game has really started now for me. The game has really started now. But like I always said, man, the number one thing that's great about it, I can finally give that son of a bitch who owns every place around here, Kelly, a run for his money. I can't beat him yet because he's a much higher level than me still.
Yeah.
But I'm finally taking spots back. I'm beating him. I'm taking spots back. And it's a good, really, really good feeling really, really good feeling. They've changed a few things too. They updated now how you attack, which I really like. They upgraded the menu. And one cool thing too, Kelly, now in the regions, the local areas, I always say, you take over an area from a dude, from another player, right? Now there's bosses in all these little areas too. There's like little guardians of these areas, what they call them. And you fight them, and they may have like buffs starting off the battle, and it'll be like in an underwater arena type thing. And then in turn, you'll have negative buffs. So you're already kind of up against the 8-ball when you're fighting them. And it's just like fighting a normal enemy, but then once again, you get the benefits of challenging that dude and beating him. So it's a nice little add-on. I think they obviously did it because most people are obviously complaining, saying, hey, there's a guy in my area who owns 12,000 spots. I don't really want to play the game. I don't own anything, and I'll never be able to challenge this dude. So I think that's what the developers kind of come up with this idea just because of all that was going on. My God, game was so great. I did a ton of bike riding this weekend, Kelly, playing the game. Rode my bike for 3 hours playing. It was the coolest thing because I'm in like kind of a remote area. It's kind of more of a suburban area, really out there. And I'm just riding around, and I see this fucking bastard everywhere. I'm like, how is he here? This is like a cul-de-sac in the middle of nowhere. And I keep riding. I finally, I was battling an area. I was battling in a gauntlet, and it was like a school, and then like there was like a massive, like kind of like almost like kids that made like a BMX type thing. And I'm like, if that son of a bitch is back here, I fucking swear to God, I finally wasn't there. All this wide open spots, no one had taken. So that boom, I found a little hidden gem, took all the spots, took a few major parks out there, and it was really, really a lot of fun. Really cool.
What year's your moped?
1983 moped.
Nice.
Oh shit. Yeah, I had a great ride on the way back. That's what was the cool part about it was, my ride back. It was kind of an area I wasn't really used to, so I really kind of took a cool way back. It was pitch black going through a massive forest, though, Kelly. It was I just hauled ass, and you could barely. I didn't have a light; you could barely see. The pathway, and I just hauled ass through this forest in the middle of the night. It was pretty, a little creepy, but it was really cool. The darkness was kind of helping me, keep up the pace. That's for sure. Played a ton of Zelda: Link to the Past. Fuck, so fun, Kelly. It's so a little bit hard. Like I'm finding that it's getting a little bit challenging again. Where especially right now, I'm kind of up against where they really don't tell you anything, and they just just to figure out how to get my flippers so I could swim was a tough part. But I think right now I've beaten 3 of the crystal places in the dark realm, and it's just really now I'm having a hard time because I think what I have to do is use my mirror, Kelly, and because my mirror can make me go from the light world to the dark world. So I think in certain times when you flip over your mirror, you're in a spot where you would never be able to get to unless you did the flip. So I think that I've done already a few spots like that. So just finding that spot, I just don't want to look up the walkthrough. I don't want to look it up. I want to figure it out on my own and play the game that way. And that's what's really intriguing me too. Is just as now I think I'm at a spot where I never really got to as a kid. I don't know if I ever beat the game as a kid. I can't remember. And now I think I'm getting to a spot where I'm getting more cool shit. Like I got the hammer and the hook shot, and I'm fighting some really cool bosses. And those every little place makes you use that weapon, and got a few different upgrades. And so I'm just trying to get through it. I think I need a glove, a stronger glove, or something. I don't know. Hit me up on Twitter. Help me out, folks. But I'm just loving it. Link to the Past, Super Nintendo. Fuck, was it ever way ahead of its time. Love Super Nintendo. Other than that, I didn't really play much games this weekend. How about you, Kelly? Would you get wowed up?
Yeah, I haven't played a lot. I've kind of been down and out for a while, but yeah, I played a little bit of World of Warcraft. Probably just like a few hours. I think I'm like level 24 now.
Oh, nice.
The Warlock. In the wetlands, killing some orcs and shit.
Nice.
I've played a little bit of Apex again.
Oh, yeah?
I just got back into it. My first game got second place. Second game got second place. And third game we won.
Nice.
And the third game that we won. Oh, no, we played one more game. And I won again. But that game, the guy like quit right away. So it was only 2 of us. So like we just kept rushing teams. Like we'd kill the first guy quick because he was usually out in the open, and then we'd just wait until the other two came and got him, and we just kill those guys.
Nice.
So we managed to win that way. Like it was actually like a pretty good teammate. So I lucked out.
Nice.
After that, it's kind of like up and down with my teams. One guy who like lands right where I land. When like
love that too.
Yeah, and I was like the jump master, which I also love. So he like went right down with me, and then he's like takes like everything that I open.
Oh,
and then
my
I start
God.
running in a different direction because he's taking everything. He follows me.
Oh my! What the
And then
hell?
I'm like, hey, this is gonna be a bad game. And then he died right away, and I had like basically nothing.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
I tried to save him. I think I knocked one guy, and then I just got killed.
Ah. What a bum. He takes all your gear and then can't even defend himself.
No.
You know what I mean? Just causing havoc. What a bum.
But next season, there's like a whole new map. So it's gonna be a brand new one. There's gonna be a train.
Cool.
There's gonna be like all this stuff, like an ice like place, like different sections. It's gonna be really cool. So even if you haven't played, and you just jump in now, just like learn some of the weapons. Who cares if like your team thinks that you suck? Everyone sucks in that game.
Yeah, exactly.
From my experience, just learn it, and then next season you won't have to worry because everybody's gonna be starting fresh with the map.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
and there's gonna be new guns added too.
Oh,
so
cool.
people are gonna be starting fresh with those guns. So if you just like learn the basics with like regular guns, like the R305 is pretty good. The Hemlock's pretty good. You're looking at like a Devotion for the energy guns. Longbow for sniper rifles. You don't want to get, unless you're really good at sniping, you don't want to get like a scope that just aims out forever because when you're actually like trying to hit somebody, it makes it harder to aim on them. I don't know how to explain it. But
I know what you mean. I know what you mean. Like that's why I hate when you get like that super powerful scope on a gun. And it's like I don't really want this scope.
Yeah, short scopes do a good job.
Big time. Big time because you're in close battles and all you got is this massive 10 times scope. Yeah. You're screwed.
But a lot of the game is luck as well. What you pick up in the beginning and who's around you matter a lot.
Oh, of course, yeah.
And then who's on your team, stuff like that. So. It's a good time to get to learn just the weapons, and then next season everybody's starting fresh.
Huh, that's really cool. When does that happen? Do you know?
This season ends like tomorrow, I think.
Oh, wow!
The last time there's a week in between seasons, so there might be a week as well. I'm not quite sure.
And the new map will be at that time too.
Yeah.
Wow, that's really cool. They're really jumping up here. I mean, we were kind of always criticize them for being a bit slow with their new content, but here we see them coming with a whole new map. That's huge.
And a new Apex Legend and new weapons.
Oh, cool. New Legend. That's really cool.
So it's going to be a lot.
Has it leaked who it is?
It's like this hacker guy. I have no idea what he does, to be honest with you.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's kind of cool. That's really cool.
So it should be interesting. Watson was kind of a dud.
Mm-hmm.
Like her abilities for fences is pretty easy to get through.
Right.
And then her little what do you call it, like satellite unit thing that destroys projectiles and stuff is okay, but it's
not really worth it. Yeah.
There's legends with way better abilities.
Well, exactly. Why would you want you got a reactive ability. You can only use your special ability if someone has used theirs.
Yeah.
That's the dumbest thing ever.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Wouldn't you rather have an ability that has a good chance of killing somebody? Because then it's useless most of the time. You know what I mean? It's useless, and you're playing on you're always waiting for them to use theirs, and then what? You lived. Good. You didn't kill anybody with it.
Exactly. Like Wrath is a good example where you can like not only teleport people to different sections, but you can also like go invisible if you need to get out of sight.
Yeah, that thing works so well. I've used that many times. Absolutely. Yeah. That one's super good.
I usually use it for flanking people. Like I'll turn it on and run around back, and then I'll kill them. Oof. Same with the Mirage. It's a pretty good superpower basically for doing that too.
Yeah, I know Mirage is super popular. A lot of people love Mirage, probably just for that reason alone. All right, moving right along here. Let's do this here, my man. Back by popular demand, reviewing the reviews. There's one weird one. I kind of want. I'm not going totally international with this one, Kelly. I'm going out of province here. It was on TSN up here in Canada. We get our sports channel is not ESPN. We get TSN, and we still get ESPN, but TSN's our major sports channels. And there was this restaurant that kept on being advertised, and it was State and Maine. I was like, look, that's kind of weird. What kind of restaurant is this, and how much money do they have to waste on like a campaign on TSN? Which is this is this weirdest thing. TSN's not local; it's coast to coast. You know what I mean? It's a massive network. Yeah. So if you have an advertisement on that, you know what I mean? You'd think you'd be like a big chain or something. No, these guys they're just in Alberta. You know, so like right off the bat, I'm like, interesting, very interesting. But they have a lot of these stores in Alberta. They're like a keg, you know what I mean, like a Moxie's or some shit like that. You know what I mean, like a pub place. But I just thought it was kind of weird.
They must have owed tax money.
Something. I guess.
We need to purchase a lot of commercial time right now so we can write it off immediately.
And the commercials are terrible. I picked one in Red Deer. This one here, 4.2 stars out of 599 reviews. Damn. Yeah, not bad. Lots of ones though, as you'd imagine. And it doesn't take long to find an easy one here. Let's do it here. CH, 3 reviews only. 2 months ago, 1 star. I gotta click to see how. Oh, it's not okay. It's a little long. We'll get this. This person is pissed. I had dinner in Red Deer with my daughter at State and Maine. We should have left the restaurant when the 2 guys beside us walked out because they weren't getting served or even given a menu. The worst came at the end of our meal. We were having lemon and tea when the waitress spilled beer down the back of my daughter's sweater. After speaking to the manager, my daughter was not offered a meal on the house, but rather blamed that it was her fault that she stood up and bumped the waitress. My daughter never moved her chair. We were sipping our hot water, engaged in conversation. I'm making this shit up. I'm hoping the manager checks her cameras. The waitress spilled a whole can of beer down her back. It was an awful experience. And an awful experience with the manager. I would not recommend this particular restaurant in Red Deer. Terrible service. The manager was not sympathetic and had a no-care attitude. The service was so bad, obviously from poor management. Check your cameras! Check your cameras.
5 stars, free beer.
That was the reply afterwards. The manager gave us free beer. We love this place. Let me hug you, man. How hilarious is that? Like, she's so serious. She wants them to like check the cameras. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to rest unless you check the cameras. I'm getting a lawyer to get the cameras and to check them. Hilarious. A lot of good reviews though. This guy, even though he heavily recommends it, he only gave him 4 stars. Weird. You know what I mean? Heavily recommended. Great, not good. Good, not great. Here's another one. This another person here. This is some people got some hate here, and these that's what I love about it. It's the people who don't review that often. The other one was 3 reviews. This one's 2 reviews. TB, two reviews only. 1 star 5 months ago. We eat here quite often. But last night, we both had the spicy soup, which sounds really good, and the waitress said it was one of her favorites. This was not worth the money we paid. Small salad shrimp and cut-up pieces of chicken. They may have been used on one of the flatbed bread pizzas. I tried to send a private email, but the platform was not available. So I'm kind of confused what this guy really wants. What does he really want? He didn't say like how bad it was. He didn't say it was bland. He just says it wasn't good. But you go to a pub and you get the soup. You know what I mean? We just ordered soup.
What kind of chicken are you expecting it too? I want drumsticks.
I know. It's kind of weird. Like,
it's the way Mom used to make it.
Yeah, exactly. And then the owner just responding saying, "We're sorry to hear that. Please contact us. Here's your reference number." Yada, yada, yada.
There you go. Now there's a way to contact.
Yeah, exactly. You can send a private email.
So now 3 stars?
Still 1. State and Maine's not doing a very good job. We got to step it up, State and Maine. I think it's more the people. You know what I mean? I'm complaining about the people here because these reviews aren't very good, people. I want to see some hate here. I want to see some psychoticness. You know what I'm seeing is bad spelling and simpleness here. Come on. Let's see here. AV, 55 reviews. We've seen something here. 1 star, 5 months ago. Last time I went was a 5. But this time I went in at 15 minutes to 9. Got told to sit ourselves. Waited till 9:15. No server asked us what we would like to drink or gave us menus. They were not very busy. Usually I won't complain, but I haven't ate since 9 a.m. and waiting 30 minutes for a not so busy place, just not right. See, here we see it again. We see it again where somebody, they haven't eaten. They're saying basically in this, they're saying they haven't eaten in 12 hours. So they're going to this place hangry, basically. And now they're upset because they basically haven't walked in and got service instantly. You know what I mean? And got food. Like you're going to a restaurant. If you're hungry, that's starving. 12 hours not eating. I suggest maybe go grab a quick bite to eat. That's what they call a quick bite to eat. Because if you're going to a restaurant, you're going to be waiting, like what do you think, Kelly? Like, at least 30 minutes.
At least, yeah.
At least 30 minutes before
you don't cook it until you order.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And that's for your appetizer.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's if it's quick. That's if it's amazingly quick. You could be waiting an hour before you get food. So now you haven't eaten in 12 hours, and now you're going to your restaurant, and you could potentially be waiting another hour. Ridiculous. Give your head a shake. This person even the same thing. They got another reference number. No, this is funny. Let's do 2 more here. 2 quick ones. It's a weird name. DGL, 6 reviews, 1 star. Website says open till 12. I didn't know State and Maine was operating on Manitoba time. I guess they must have closed at 11 or something. That is hilarious. Terrible. Last one here. 1 star. All right, 1 star only review. Let's do it. Last round it out here. State and Maine did not impress. DK, 1 review 1 month ago, 1 star. They're not very good to work. Oh boy. Okay, hold on. Let's I'm gonna have to paraphrase this one. They're not very good to work for. They don't tip their hosts or expo at all, which is totally ridiculous. I've honestly never heard of that before. So now it's obviously a disgruntled employee, but not the best spelling. I don't know if that person didn't get tipped, but you know what I mean. Why would you review the place you work at? Like, whew. That's playing with fire. State and Maine, not very good. I should have known. On that one. But like I always do all these ththings, I come in blind, Kelly. I come in totally blind. I don't want to do a ton of research. I just want to know where it's at and kind of come in on it. But I think that's what we've got to say about Alberta people. They're lucky enough that they can spell it all. Yeah. Those half the people didn't do a review because they couldn't spell. It's from all those oil fumes.
Oh shit!
Alberta sucks.
What?
All righty. Moving right along. We will, with that being said, we will just take a quick break. We'll be right back after these messages. With fall in full swing and winter right around the corner, be prepared to watch out for Water's winter cousin, Ice. You can slip on it and break your ass. Ice, it's slippery, but delicious.
Are you a hardcore gamer? Do you like crazy racing games? Crazy Taxi! Coming out for Sega Dreamcast. Watch out, gamers! Do you like third-person shooters? Crazy guns and insane characters? GoldenEye for Nintendo 64. Coming at you soon.
Back for a sequel. You thought Mario ended with Bowser. You were wrong. Mario 2. We can't explain much about it. It just does not make sense. But it's a fun game. In stores now. Your guess is as good as mine. That's the slogan.
You've enjoyed Pac-Man for years. This summer, Miss Pac-Man.
Dun dun dun.
Coming at you, gobbling more balls than ever. Blah, 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 blah. Watch out for the ghosts.
Make sure to get that fruit, because it's points or something. We're not exactly sure what the fruit does. Welcome back, folks. Hope you enjoyed our messages, and go grab yourself a cold, tall glass of water in the house. Tap water, that is. One thing I wanted to touch base on, Kelly, was from 2 weeks ago. Was Valor Boxing. Valor Boxing, Bare Knuckle Boxing, VBK. They had their first event, owned and ran by Ken Shamrock. They actually had a one-night heavyweight tournament where Mark Godbeer, a former MMA fighter, it wasn't bad, versus Jack May. Mighty Mo was in there, and the African Assassin, Ramium Sokaju. So it's kind of cool. They brought, doing what they do best, bringing over some former UFC names. Why the hell not? In a heavyweight tournament. Mighty Mo looked amazing, though. Man, he's really shredded right now. One thing I wanted to check out was the pit. They had like a whole pit thing. It wasn't roped. It wasn't fenced. I didn't get to catch anything. They were very close guarded with showing any of it, Kelly. They didn't want to let anyone see to see it. You couldn't find even snippets like highlights or nothing. It was $29.99 to order it. A bit steep, but I think that's kind of where these things start. You know what I mean? Interesting. I'd be interested in the next one. They put on apparently a pretty good show. It was very successful. So especially having a one-night tournament, that's awesome. They had so it was Mighty Mo versus Ramium Terry Sokaju, and Mighty Mo wins TKO in the third round. For Mighty Mo to go the distance too is pretty tough. Then Mark Godbeer defeats Jack May KO in the first round, knocking him the hell out. LeVar Johnson, yes, he was a recent signee. Did some time in jail. Just got out of jail 4 years. He was in jail. Former. I don't think he. Yeah, no, I'm pretty sure he did fight in UFC. He was more of a Strike Force standout. Great stand-up fighter, but terrible ground game. So I think this could actually work good for him. Defeating James McSweeney, another UFC guy. He was on the TV show. James McSweeney. He was fought in ONE FC for a little while there too, and knocked him out in 27 seconds. Like, that's crazy. Mike Richmond goes to a no contest with JC Lamas. Ish Smith defeats Esteban Paya by decision. And we see in the main event the result of the heavyweight tournament, Mark Godbeer defeating Mighty Mo, but TKO, pretty damn good. I would have liked to have checked it out. I just wanted to briefly touch base on that. Valor Boxing going down. I'm actually pretty excited for that. Could be pretty good coming down the pipe. Let's talk some MMA. Getting started with Bellator 227. Gallagher versus Salazar. This was the fucking weirdest thing. Bellator, I don't know why you keep doing this. You keep splitting the cards up. Did you watch the one on Friday, Kelly?
Yeah.
It was split up. Like they had almost like the undercard was being shown on Paramount, and then like the main event was the obviously James Gallagher and Michael Venom Page, were on the card, but I thought it was the weirdest thing. But I think that actually went on before Benson Henderson versus Miles Jury. I was just fucking really weirded out. See, the way I saw it, when I watched on TV, Benson Henderson and Miles Jury were the main event, but they were already showing me highlights from the Michael Venom Page fight and from the James Gallagher fight. They were already showing me highlights, so I thought that was the weirdest fucking thing.
I only watched the main card, so I didn't even watch the Benson.
Yeah, I would have assumed that was the main card, but it was not. Weirdest thing. I don't know why they keep doing it like that, or maybe they're phasing out Paramount, to be on it, because that would suck. I like watching on Paramount, even for the terrible repeat commercials. That's the hardest part. Obviously, a lot of UK talent, dudes from Italy and the UK, and obviously Ireland. One crazy fight was Norbert Novelli versus Will Fleury. That was a really crazy fight. This Norbert guy is really, really tough, and Will Fleury did not go down without a fight. Norbert, he's kind of a crazier, flashier, almost a karate style. I think he's like from Moldova or something like that, but was raised in England, so it's kind of crazy with that one. But he's a tough dude. He's 4-0 now, and he had a real tough test with Will Fleury. He almost took him there at the end. Benson Henderson versus Miles Jury wasn't a great fight. It was really, what I thought was a sparring match. Really, I guess these guys used to be training partners too a long time ago, Kelly. So that's kind of what I took from it. Easy decision for Benson Henderson. Miles Jury just doesn't look like he wants to fight anymore, and that's the biggest problem. He just doesn't look like he's got his head in the game, and I don't think he's really interested in fighting. And I think that's the shittiest thing. I think maybe Bellator lost out when they signed him. MVP gets back in the winning ways over a can, obviously. KO a flying knee, and he's still showboating. You think after getting knocked out as bad as he did, he would have stopped, maybe slowed his showboating down, Kelly?
Yeah. Not
the case. And they gave him a can and a half, man. The guy, the guy was only 3-1, had lost, in one of his last fights too. And Richard Kiley, out of Ireland, he's 3-2. They gave him a huge can. And even look at this guy's amateur record is terrible. His 2 amateur fights he lost. So that's
he goes pro,
and then he goes, "I'm ready. I'm ready for the big leagues." So no surprise there. What was the other one? Oh, and then obviously the main event, James Gallagher getting the super quick guillotine over Roman Salazar. Once again, they're putting against a guy who's 10-1 as against a guy who's 13-9. You know what I mean? Is that kind of weird to you, Kelly? You know what I mean? Like, they're really trying to give James Gallagher a push here, and kind of weird. The guy's last 5 fights, he's 1-4. So they gave him one hell of an easy win. Former UFC fighter Roman El Galito Salazar, fighting out of the States. Lose to James Gallagher, lose to Mario Ismail, beats Evan DeLong and Iron Boy Promotions. Like, wow. Loses Combat Americas, loses LFA. When did he fight in the UFC? I can't even... Oh, okay, he went to a no contest against Kid Yamamoto. Huh, crazy. So he went to a no contest with Kid Yamamoto for an eye poke. Lost to Mitch Gannon by a rear naked choke. Lost to Marlon Vera by a rear naked choke. So he went 0-2 with 1 no contest in his UFC. He actually had a pretty decent career before that, but obviously couldn't find it. Never really found it afterwards. Never really beat anybody good, but they're giving James Gallagher quite an easy matchup, I think, in that one. It wasn't a bad card though. All in, it wasn't terrible. I don't mind seeing more of the minor league talent that Bellator does put on, and I do enjoy seeing those minor league dudes, and then eventually, you see them rise to the ranks. I think that's one of the more funner parts about UFC. Hitching your wagon to a dude relative unknown just because he put on a few good fights, and then he actually turns out to be a star, and you can thinking about the good times of the guy. So that's the shit about UFC in combat sports. Let's talk Bellator 228. Patricio Pitbull versus Juan Archuleta. It's weird that they have that the main event, but really Gegard Musashi versus Lyoto Machida was the main event, so it's kind of weird. Even though that was for the belt too, but I think they just obviously wanted the other one to be main event, so it could go. It was only 3 rounds too. Yeah, it was only a 3-round fight. Another super stacked card. One of the crazy ones on the undercard was Johnny Cisnero versus Mike Jasper. Did you catch that one, Kelly?
No.
Oh, it was crazy. Cisnero was getting the shit kicked out of him the whole fight. Mike Jasper just ground and pounding him, taking him down at will. Something happened, and he caught a leg kick, an awkward leg kick from Johnny Cisnero. Broke his ankle, basically. And he couldn't continue the fight. So he leg kicked him and kept on leg kicking him, and he had to stop. Guy wins comeback fight of the year. It was crazy. It was really crazy. Antonio McKee. Yes, that Antonio McKee gets an easy win against William Shirapai by TKO. You already put it on him. He didn't look bad. Antonio McKee, he's got like 50 fights, never wins. He always goes to decision, Kelly. Never finishes people. And here in his old age, and beats William Shirapai. Kind of really cool, His father and son being on the same card, with AJ McKean also being on the card too. That's kind of it's really cool. Could have been training partners too. It's really a good little feel-good story about this card. What was? Oh yeah, can we make it to the main card here of Daniel Weichel? Beating Saul Rogers. That was a tough decision for him. Saul Rogers didn't go back down. He was going to stay there and fight his ass off. But Weichel takes the decision. Rogers just didn't do enough, I think, in my book, to get the nod. And obviously they wanted Daniel to move on in the tournament. Darian Caldwell beating Henry Corrales. Henry Corrales is my dark horse. I jinxed him, man. He was my dark horse to make it to the end. And here Caldwell just wrestled the fuck out of him. Just really nullified him. Super boring wrestler in Darian Caldwell. We've seen it against Koji Haraguchi and different dudes he's fought recently where he does his only game plan to hold the dude down, and I just didn't like it at all. He looks like he's real big for 145, though, which is good for Darian Caldwell. You can always find a home at 145 because he looked massive compared to Henry Corrales. He was already a pretty big 145, but unfortunately Corrales, he just didn't have enough for the wrestling game, and just once that happened, he got nullified. He did have a few bursts there where he looked like he could do some damage, but unfortunately did not see that. I think it was the fastest KO in Bellator history with AJ McKee just smashing Georgi Karyakian. Really, all that smack talk before the fight, man, he walks out there and just one punches him, and it was almost, he woke up on the floor and he was just like, what's going on? And then AJ had no choice but to keep punching him, and for the quick finish, huge quick finish. We see a whole whackload of decisions, like the last, 1, 2, 3, 4 decisions in a row, and then we get too quick of a finish, and then Patricio Pitbull versus Juan Archuleta. It's very similar. I think Patricio used his grappling. I did not expect Juan Archuleta to really lose a wrestling match against Pitbull. I thought it was really odd that he went for that style. Out of all the things, I think Juan Archuleta has always had such a strong wrestling game, but we just didn't see it in this match. And he gets the easy decision. I think it was right across the board. Pitbull, he just made it uncomfortable for Juan, landed the leg kicks when he needed to, and just kept him on his toes with it, constantly going for the takedown, constantly going for the fence grind, and winning. It was really lackluster. I think that's the thing that I was most pissed off about, Kelly. And I don't know about you, just that was a fight I was really looking forward to, and it was really boring. It wasn't very that exciting at all. It was, out of all the decisions, it was probably one of the best decisions, but I think I just wanted to see a bit more fireworks when it came to two dudes who had such a good build-up to this fight. They really kind of shit the bed in my books.
Yeah, I agree.
Didn't live up to the hype.
It's pretty boring.
And exactly, it was, yeah. And I was one who was hyping up most myself because they both had been such a tear. And we saw a bit of a coy exchange. And speaking of not a great exchange, Gegard Musashi beating Lyoto Machida. That fight sucked. Yeah. That was really rough to watch. Really rough to watch. Split decision. I actually had it Machida. I had Machida 2-1 myself, even though I love Gegard so much and respect him and admire his fighting style so much. You know, Lyoto Machida does that to some people, but I think in my book, I thought he did just a bit more. But Gegard Musashi gets the nod and gets the split decision. I was shocked by it. Who did you have winning that one, Kelly?
I had Gegard winning it.
Yeah, you did,
but,
yeah.
I don't know, like slightly. I could have seen it going either way. It was pretty mundane. But, yeah, I don't know, man. I didn't realize how many fights Gegard has actually had.
Yeah, exactly. Over 50.
Yeah, man.
That's a lot.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Like 55 fights.
Like more than Machida.
Yeah, way more. Yeah, he's sitting around 35. You know what I mean? He's got almost 20 more fights than him. You know, that's a lot of fights. That's a lot of fights for anybody to have.
Yeah, I definitely could have seen that going either way. That's what happens when you're just like, you know, tit for tat the whole fight.
Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? You can never know what's going to happen. And this is exactly what we see here. You know, you never want to leave it up to the judges too. You never want to leave it up to the judges. That's the shitty thing. The one really cool thing about this card was the announcement of Chris Cyborg will be taking on Julia Budd coming down. I'm really excited for that fight. Poor Julia Budd, you know, very local to us. That'll be going down January 25th. I can't remember. I think it's going to be LA. In the Forum. So I'm pretty excited for that fight. But I want to find the bracket on how the next matchup is going to play out. Here we go. I think it's going to be not that one. I think it's
Julia Budd, 13 wins, 2 losses. Oh, hasn't lost forever.
Yeah, the only people she lost to was Ronda Rousey and I think Misha Tate. I think
Amanda
Nunes. Yeah,
the 2 people that you'd expect to lose to.
Yeah, exactly.
That's crazy, and that was at like the beginning of her career too. Those 2 fights. 2011 was her last loss, and that was to Ronda Rousey.
Exactly, huge, eh?
Ah, could be a good fight. Could be interesting.
No, I think she's got a great chance. You know what I mean? I think she's got a great chance to win. Yeah. You know what I mean? Or how hot she is right now. And, really, there's got to be a ton of stress and weight on Cyborg's shoulders right now. You know what I mean? For her to perform, huge contract, new town, you know what I mean? And you're going to come in, right off the bat, getting a title shot against a very tough girl who's not going to give up. She's not going to go down lightly and hand over that belt very easily. So I'm really excited for this one. Let's see if we can pull it up here. Okay, so here we go. For the tournament coming down. Now the new matchup is going to be in December. It will be AJ McKee versus Derek Campos going down in December. In January 2020, we will see Adam Borchik taking on Darian Caldwell. I like that matchup. And then in February, Emmanuel Sanchez will be taking on Daniel Weichel. That one is going to be a good one. I think Sanchez could easily win that one. And then we will see Patricio Pitbull taking on Pedro Carvalho. Huge implications with that. What an opportunity for Pedro Carvalho. He would not have gotten a title shot if it wasn't for this tournament. And here, he's sized up as the the number 8 guy to take on Patricio, the number 1 guy. Huge chance for Pedro Carvalho here to actually win the belt, move on through the tournament as the champion. I'm really excited for that one. Can't wait for that one to pan out, and then how it pans out even after that. The semifinals, in the quarterfinals, and then boom, you're right into it. And super excited about that. Let's round it out with some UFC Fight Night 160. Jack Hermansen versus Jared Cannonier in Copenhagen, Denmark. Oh, it was a good card. I really liked it, actually. Bellator was kind of up and down, and both the Bellators were kind of up and down, and really, especially the one on Saturday, I was really, kind of fell flat with all the implications and how excited I was. But during the day, I watched this card, and it was really, really good, actually. Really, really good. I basically watched most of the undercard. Macy Chiasson losing to Lena Landsberg. Huge loss for Macy Chiasson, to the Queen of Elbows, losing the decision. Lando Venata takes a loss, too. That's a huge loss for him, too. He was on such a tear. What was the one where it started getting good? Oh, John Phillips. That was a crazy stand and bang there. John Phillips versus Alan Amadovsky. Just basically, they both stood in the middle of the ring and they swung for the fences. It was crazy. Really, really good, really good fight with that one. Makhmed Muradov versus Alessio Di Chico was actually a good fight. This Makhmed guy is actually, he's in the money team, Kelly. So he's got Floyd Mayweather money behind him. Kind of a relative unknown. I think he's fighting out of Ukraine or something. No, Uzbekistan. Yeah.
Crazy.
29. He's 23-6. He hasn't lost since 2017. He's fought a lot in the last little while. Yeah. Hasn't really fought anybody really that good, though, which is kind of weird. This is his first fight in the UFC. And they give him a pretty tough test, but here he comes and wins it. Kind of an up and down career, which I thought was weird. He must be a good trainer or something. How he gets in the money team, I don't know. Odd though, younger guy, only 29, so he's got his whole world ahead of him. The other one was a cool fight too. Nicholas Dalby versus Alex Oliveira, the Brazilian Cowie. That was a really good fight too. Nicholas Dalby, a really cool story with him. One of the earlier Danish fighters in the UFC, and he had a rough go. He only lost he only had when he makes it to the UFC. You think it's going to be your big thing. This is it. I finally made it. I finally made it to the UFC, and then he loses 2 in a row. Gets a draw against Darren Till. Gets a split against Ezekiel Zaleski dos Santos. That's a huge win. But then loses decision to Zach Cummins, loses to Peter Sabota, and then gets his walking papers. So, he's in the UFC, he's 1-2-1, with the draw, which isn't terrible. It's not terrible. And then, going on to the independents, losing to Carlos Pedasoli, who came over to the UFC and then lost in his UFC second fight. He was really touted to be the next big thing. But to get his way back, this is kind of weird. He had a no contest unsafe surface. You see that? That's weird. Yeah. What the hell happened there? What the hell happened there? Fighting in the Cage Warriors, knocking everyone out in Cage Warriors and really coming back. And he had a really good showing against Alex Oliveira. That's not an easy guy to fight. And he put on a really good showing. I thought it was a really good fight for both those guys. That was actually a good fight for a decision. OSP against Michael Olzerjuk. That was a crazy one. Did you catch that one, Kelly?
No.
OSP was getting the shit kicked out of him. The Olzerjuk was just hitting him with everything. Constantly hitting him with this crazy left, and then just working the body with the kicks. But OSP didn't go away, and this Michael guy, he was really small for a 205. The guy's 205. He was really small. OSP is one of the bigger 205s. But still, with the shoulder choke, the OSP choke, Vincent St. Preux, proven it time and time again. He's not a dude to be slept on. And here he gets the Von Flue choke, which is now he has 4 Von Flue chokes in the UFC. There's only been 6 Von Flue chokes ever in the UFC, and OSP has 4 of them. So that's just crazy right there. Huge shoulders and a huge win for him. This was a fight that was great, man. This fight was great. Ion Cutabella versus Khalil Roundtree. Oof, that was a crazy one. Did you catch that one, Kelly?
No, I didn't watch this.
Oh, you didn't watch the card at all? Oh, shitty. Yeah, this was a really good one. You know, with Khalil Roundtree, you know what I mean? He was like my comeback fighter of the year. You know, this new fighting style, how good he really was. And then, you know what I mean? He came out and they came trading, and Ion had a bit of swagger and a bit of hate behind his punches. You know, I think he thought, you know what I mean, I'm going to be, you think I'm going to be, fed to the wolves. I'm your stepping stone. That's not going to happen today. And man, he worked some great grappling. And with that grappling, fuck, did he drop some huge elbows. And Roundtree, Roundtree's stand-up was great, but you don't got great stand-up when you're on your back eating elbows. And that's what we saw from Ion Cutabella. It was fucking crazy, man. That elbow, he had no choice. He had no choice but to quit. Gilbert Burns versus Gunnar Nelson. That was a really good one, too. It was a great decision for both those guys. Really, two grappling aces. Gilbert Burns taking on short notice because he's always training people. He's a highly trained. Everyone wants his training for jiu-jitsu. He's a super high-level black belt. He was training for the Abu Dhabi tournament that went down last weekend. And he said, sure, why not? I'll take the fight. And he gets the decision. And Gunnar Nelson, just his grappling, his takedowns were just a bit too good for Gunnar, and he had some really good stand-up too. Co-main event though, Mark O'Madsen. Kelly, this guy is on a different level, beating Danilo Ludo. TKO first round. Mark O'Madsen, he won silver, first wrestling medal for Denmark ever. Dude's really good at 155. He is tough. He looks the part. He looks like he's just shredded. You know what I mean? Great grappler, amazing grappler. The guy won silver. You know what I mean? And he took it to him. His takedown was just so good, and his ground and pound was just even better. It was something that couldn't be beat. It definitely couldn't be beat. This guy is going to turn heads at 155. That brings us to the main event of the evening. Jared Cannonier taking on Joker Jack Hermanson. Didn't expect that finish. I really thought Jack Hermanson would have really worked more of his ground game, but I think Jared Cannonier was well prepared. I think that's just the main thing, is that Jared Cannonier really worked his grappling, nullified any Jack Hermanson's. Jack likes to take people's back. He likes to pull them down from the back too, and I think Jared Cannonier got pulled down once and popped right back up, and I just think maybe it got into Jack Hermanson's head just a little bit, and that was enough because he never scored another takedown after that. And the uppercut that Jared Cannonier landed was huge. He telegraphed. I think that's why Cannonier really took a training camp very seriously, because he walked right into that uppercut. He ducked his head right into it, and it smashed the shit out of him, Kelly. A dude, who, man, he must have been that would have been a fight to put money on, because I could imagine Cannonier must have been a pretty decent underdog, and here he smashes Jack Hermanson. He wasn't smiling after this fight. That's for damn sure. After that punch he took, and man, he was okay, but he was covering up instantly. You can definitely tell he hadn't been hit like that in a very long time. And where does this put Jared Cannonier now? Top 5 at welterweight? Really, he has to, beat Anderson Silva. You know what I mean? Now he's beat Jack Hermanson, who Jack Hermanson was beating everybody. And now, who else does he fight? 185. He's got to be right on the cusp of getting that title shot. One more fight, and I think that's going to be it. A dude who fought a heavyweight, Kelly, moved down to 205, couldn't get it really done at 205. And then moves down to 185 and is on a 3-fight win streak. All 5 finishes, too. 3 finishes. He lost to Dominic Reyes at 205. Tough dude to fight at 205 in Dominic Reyes, but beats David Branch. David Branch is very tough. He was a former WSOF champ. You know what I mean? And TKOs him in the second round. And, beats Anderson Silva leg kicks, destroying his knee. And then now here knocking out Jack Hermanson. 3 finishes in a row. That's got to get you close to a contendership shot at least. Does he get out Yoel Romero next? You know what I mean? That'd be a good matchup for him. You know what I mean? That'd be a damn true test. That's for damn sure. So super excited to see what happens with Jared Cannonier coming down the pipe. Well, then that's about wraps it up, man. We ran a little long today, as I have been recently. Glad to get back in the saddle, Kelly, and shoot some shit. I want to give a special shout out to all the people listening out there. Thanks again for tuning in every week and loving the show. Love that you guys like to listen to it. Kelly and I really love doing this every week. You know, chatting, bullshit, video games, MMA. Hit us up on Twitter @AndNewPodcast. The Steven and Kelly and New Podcast. Well, then, we got big UFC coming up. Raw as well, the season premiere, even though the show runs year-round. They have the season premiere today. It's huge, Kelly. Absolutely huge. New stage. Fireworks are back. They got the pyro is back now. And they switch over to SmackDown on Fox. WWE is going to be on Fox, Kelly. Every Friday night is SmackDown. I think they're planning huge things for it. I'm super excited for wrestling coming down the pipe here. And I think all of us have AEW to thank for lighting a bit of a fire underneath WWE's ass. And it could not be better. Well, then, that about wraps it up, folks. For producer and co-host extraordinaire Kelly, my name is Steven, and you've been listening to the